Let's talk about Super Space Sheriff Gavan Episode 2, and I have quite a bit to talk about in this review, but let's jump straight into it and chat about it. The episode builds up a little bit more of the lore for the series. We find out that there is one Gavan for each universe, which I think is pretty cool. Like, if you had tons running around doing whatever, I think it'd be like, hey, this is actually generally Super Sentai. But we have one, and I think that when you have a red Gavan that turns up, you're going to be asking the main questions of who the hell are you and why are you here? I don't understand why Setsuna tries to arrest r.e.d because it makes no sense. You've just seen him absolutely kill the bad guy, help you out and actually do something rather than hinder you or attack you or do whatever. So I was a bit kind of like, oh, that's a bit weird. Like, I get that you want to talk about it, but why not do it there or then? Do it in a better location rather than, oh, I'm going to arrest you, put you in cuffs, and then I'm going to take you all the way downtown so we can interrogate you. It just feels a little bit more, But I think that you find out about Setsuna's kind of like how he is because of what he talks about later on in the episode. But I generally think that rather than being rude, you want to be a bit more kind of caring or concerned or whatever, rather than just, I am going to arrest you and that is it. You have no choice in this matter. There are at times in this episode where you do want answers and it does kind of give it to you, like the whole Maku space. Like, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a thing for every week now, and it kind of feels like it's going to be. I can imagine, like, later on, I've just actually thought about this, but I imagine that they'll go into Maku space just to kind of defeat whoever, just for that one particular thing. So yeah, it just kind of reminds me again of another popular franchise, which I won't talk about much. But I think one thing I kind of really wanted in this was for them to turn around and kind of have Maku space as something, as a thing at the end. Like, in this episode, you get to see a glimpse of it where r.e.d says, yeah, you know, this is a small one, so I can seal it. And I think I kind of really wanted that to build up rather than we see it right now, like, well, much later on in the episode where it gets a lot bigger. I feel like that could have been a thing of like, oh, what is Maku space? Like, oh, what could that be? So yeah, I feel like that would have made the audience want more rather than what we're kind of expecting every single week now. But seeing the Imuro gear, like whatever that they're going to be, and then them releasing energy that kind of gives us a monster of the day or opens up the space, like, I feel like, again, that is a trait that we see with another popular franchise. And I don't know, like, maybe this is something that I don't want to see again. Like, it could have been something completely different, but it feels like this is just going to be another gimmick that everybody's going to love, everybody's going to want, etc, etc. And I feel like that's going to kind of ruin it a little bit. I don't know if this was like a huge thing back with the previous Gavans or whatever, but I feel like this is just going to be the same thing that we've seen every single year. And I know that they've got to make toy money. I know that they do, but it just feels a little bit to me. I generally think that this is going to annoy me because in every single episode that we've seen, although it's only been 2, we see that AGI will do something straight away. And then when the others kind of like talk about it, she'll be like, yeah, you made me like this, so I've obviously done it. I get that you want to be ahead of the game, but I generally think that the other people don't need to say anything anymore because she'll go off and do it. So I don't know if this is going to be like a joke that runs through the entire series, but I'm just like, okay, yeah, you've mentioned it twice. You don't need to do it anymore. Just let her do a thing. Or she'll be like, right, I'm on it, you know, straight away. That's what I kind of think. But yeah, we'll find out all the way through. Is this going to happen or not? You generally meet the 2 bads in this. You have a mysterious stranger, which I'm guessing the name isn't going to pop up. And then you have the Don of the thing, which again, I found really, really cool. And he's a little bit creepy, and it kind of reminded me of the Penguin from the Tim Burton's Batman. And I was like, okay, cool. Is this going to be like the main thing through all of them where they're just going to get people that look like certain characters? Or is it going to be like mob bosses? Is it going to be corrupt policemen? What is it going to be? So kind of seeing a main bad guy, and I thought that he was going to be the main one for all of it because the way that he is feels like he is just going to be dealing the MRO gears all the time. So I generally thought that he was just going to sit back rather than have like a big monster suit or a big bad guy. You're having what he is, like what he is wearing. He seemed like he was going to be a main bad guy because of his arm thing, which wouldn't have been too bad, because I think then it would have been completely different, rather than have giant monster suit or whatever to make him look big and bad. And also, like, you can tell that with the minions that they didn't really put a lot of thought into it, which I actually generally like. It was like really low budget, because you have them like with just like normal masks on, and it's nothing big. Like it's something where you think, yeah, anyone could pick this up. And I absolutely love it, because it feels in a way like low budget, and that's what I generally really liked in this one. One thing I did kind of pick up is it felt like the minions were like from Clockwork Orange, you know, something like that, where you have these general thugs that just go around and like beat people up or do what they want, and that's what I kind of really like. One thing that really did kind of make me go, why is that even in there, is the visual effects for where this Don hits the car. Like, it looks like he smashes the front of the actual vehicle and the whole window kind of cracks, but as soon as the vehicle hits the ground and then you look at the actual real one rather than the CGI one or 3D model, you can see that there's no damage to the window, and that's what I generally thought that they were going to add in. And it made me kind of feel like, if you're not going to apply it to the actual real world version, then why did you even do it in CGI? Is it because it looks even better? And even when you look at the people inside, when they're getting glass thrown at them or anything like that, I generally thought, well, there's nothing on the window. Like, the window looks perfectly fine. So it meant absolutely nothing. And I know that if you're going to do a visual effect, at least have something on the practical. You know, I'm sure that you could find a car that is really beaten up that you could have swapped over or something like that. Or if that car is insured, just destroy the window, or have a company come in, take the window out so it looks absolutely shattered. Like, these are things that I would be thinking of rather than putting them in there. Something like that in my eyes. With finding out that Setsuna was an android, I was generally surprised, because I think I may have mentioned, if not, I generally thought that Setsuna was the sort of person that had no emotions. You know, he's in the police, so he doesn't have that sort of thing. He's got to be straight A to the book. He's got to be 100% on his game. So when seeing that he was an android and he had like self-healing, that he could still feel pain, I generally thought, oh, okay, I didn't expect that. That's kind of cool. So yeah, like, seeing that really kind of stood out, and I was like, oh, I like that. I generally think that's really cool. So majority of the last part of the episode is that they just have a giant fight, which leads into a giant robo battle with the giant robo going on the ship and destroying a core. And that was mainly it. So there wasn't really much about it. They show Setsuna transforming and then keeping up the same thing of like, hey, if you didn't know, this is how it transforms and this is what happens. So in a blink of an eye, you're transformed, rather than the generic let's transform and it takes ages to kind of do. So I don't know if they kept it in there to add to it, or to be like, hey, you know, we've got to explain it, so we don't need to explain it, or halfway through the series. With kind of watching the fight, when r.e.d jumps out of the window, it felt like this was a stage show. I generally thought, oh man, it's like that's going back to old school practical effects. Like, I know that we've had it all the way through, but it felt like it was back in like 30 odd years ago. I did like the fact that Setsuna was dual wielding with Don Momotoro's sword. It's so weird seeing that sword. We all know it is. It's just a repurposed, rebranded one. But yeah, it did feel like Don Momotaro was there. They used some sort of effects very similar to it. And then obviously the giant robo on the ship. And I did kind of like that they had to get permission for it. So it's not like this has to be done straight away. It's like, yep, you can transform. Now, I don't know if this is going to be in every single episode, or that once they've like put their fingers on there, their fingerprints, everything is going to be fine. So I didn't know if that's a thing. Is it going to be a thing much later on, or every single time do they have to get it? So that's the one thing I'm kind of curious to know in the next couple of episodes, or whenever they do it again. After all the fights and you see that Setsuna and r.e.d kind of come along, I did like whoever this mysterious evil person is. I feel like he is just going to watch everything and come in last minute and absolutely destroy them. So I'm kind of interested to see how this kind of like goes, because we know that Setsuna is going to come back. Like, it's not going to be a one and done in my eyes. I generally think that he's going to like come back. At the very end of the episode, we do see Setsuna and r.e.d saying goodbye, and that's it. We have some dance, again reminded me of a previous franchise, and also other characters that are coming up, including the next Gavan, which is going to be the yellow one. So yeah, I kind of thought it was all right, but yeah, there wasn't too much to this episode, and I did generally get bored of it at times. I wanted to continue watching and seeing what was happening, but I know that this is going to get some heat. I generally do, but this generally felt like I was still watching Super Sentai. I know that people have been saying it's different, but everything I'm seeing right now just screams Super Sentai. It's just the same thing with a different theme. You have your gimmick, you have a giant robo, and you have two characters that have the same sort of style of when previous Sentai characters meet and stuff like that. I think one of the biggest things is I'm wondering if Space Sheriff Gavan is having the same problems as, like, say what Super Sentai is. They have network regulations that they have to follow, that they can't really go massively back to what it used to be back in the day. And I'm just kind of curious to know this, because it does feel a little bit more mature than what we've had already, and it just feels again like you've just taken Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, just put them together. I think another thing that I'm quite curious about is, are people going to kind of drop this? You know, are they going to find something new to watch? Are they just going to leave it? Or is this generally going to be a thing? Because for me, I don't know. I really don't. But yeah, like, parts of me just wants to drop this, but I kind of really want to keep with it at the same time. But yeah, that's literally it. That's the entire episode and my kind of thoughts. But yeah, I'd say not too bad. I'm just got bored of it a little. But yeah, I'm hoping like something changes that kind of keeps me intrigued and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's something to me that I'm kind of wanting to watch, but I also could just binge watch it all the time and just move on. Anyway, I am gonna leave the video here. What are your thoughts on this? What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments and let's discuss. And while you're down there, why not hit the like button and the subscribe button, as I'm trying to reach 22,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I know your help would absolutely mean the world to me. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I want to say a big thank you to my channel members, Olivia Hayden, Aiko, Kimono Cat, and Tim. And if you want to help out the channel, then consider becoming a channel member. Links in the description if you want to check them out.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。